After the Andrew Callahan sexual assault allegations came to light, a good friend of his, Ethan Klein from H3H3, posted a tweet responding to the situation where he said, "Famous men should not have random hookups, especially involving alcohol and with fans. Period. Ever. This is all getting to be too much." Which, me personally, I think it's kind of retarded, if I'm being honest. Just because some fucktards do some dumb shit, it shouldn't mean that every famous people should be banned from having random hookups. It's like saying just because some dumb fucks decide to drink and drive and then have an accident and potentially kill someone, nobody should be able to drive. It just doesn't make sense. There will always be some bad people that do some bad things, but it doesn't apply to everyone. But Ethan posted a video on his, I guess, personal channel talking about this tweet and the idea behind it. So I just wanted to take a look.
Listen, I had something on my mind, so I said, hey, I got a cell phone. I think I could just upload it directly. And I got something that I really want to get your guys' opinion on. I tweeted out something today that was in effect saying something like famous men should not have random sex with anyone, especially fans and when alcohol's involved. And there was some people that agreed, obviously, but there was a lot of people I saw this comment, well, what's the point of becoming famous then? And that kind of begs the question, like, well, if the reason you're becoming famous is for the sole reason of having lots of random sex with women, that's going to be a problem. And listen,
I don't think there's that many people that want to become famous just for the sole reason of fucking many girls. But again, even if that's the reason, that's not necessarily the wrong thing. If you're a guy that doesn't get many girls and wants to become famous so then girls will be interested in him, I don't see any issue with that. Again, the key word is girls being interested in him. So in this scenario, they want to become the famous guy that girls want to fuck. So then again, he can pick the girl he wants to have sex with because there are multiple options and the girls may be his fans. But again, both parties want to do the thing, so then doing the thing isn't necessarily wrong, in my opinion.
saying this, man, I having friends who are being basically doing horrible things, right, and getting called out. And it's happening way too much. This is happening way too much. And I think to myself, how is it that there's so many men, famous men, who are still doing this shit despite knowing that that this is a problem, that it's going to come out, right? And that you can't fuck around, you can't make mistakes like that. And yet people are still out there being scumbags.
Exactly. People are still out there being scumbags. So it just means there are a few people that do some bad shit. But that doesn't mean that everyone does. Like, just because his friends do some weird shit behind the scenes doesn't mean that everyone does. And that's the issue with banning famous people from having one night stands. Because there are plenty of famous people that never had any type of this allegation brought up against them. That means that they know how to control themselves, they know how to act, and they know what to do and what not to do. Just because Ethan's friends don't have that doesn't mean that nobody should be having one night stands. It just doesn't really make sense to me.
And it just makes me think, like, if you're a famous guy, I hate to tell you, but I think the one night stands, I think it's got to be out. And the reason I say that is to protect you from doing something horrible to somebody and doing something you will regret. And it seems that there's a high enough percentage of women who are regretting these hookups.
Again, Ethan is assuming that men cannot control themselves.
Who feel coerced, who feel like they can be manipulated into doing something they don't want to do.
If you're a famous guy that uses his fame as a weapon or as a tool to convince someone to have sex with them, that's just wrong. If the girl's not interested and you are using your fame to get into their pants, that's just wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. If someone's not interested, then it ends there, basically.
And I just keep seeing the same story over and over and over again. And it's like, what are we going to do about this? Because you would think that something would be changing by now, but it's like the same headline over and over and over again. I think that famous men need to stop having random hookups. It's just a recipe for disaster and pain and hurt. And it's gonna fuck it's gonna fuck your life up too, right? It's just not worth it. And so this comment comes.
How is that a recipe for a disaster? I just don't understand. Like, it feels like Ethan thinks every famous man does the shit that Andrew did, or the other people that have been exposed in the past. But I just don't feel like that's the norm for most people, for most famous people. Like, most famous people will fuck someone that wants to fuck them. They won't be fucking begging to have a one-night stand. And I don't think Ethan realizes that.
Up like, what's the point of becoming famous then? Well, then therein lies the problem. If you're becoming famous to sleep with a bunch of women, well, that used to be cool. And that used to be a reason to become famous. But now you can go ahead and do that, but it's going to come out and you're going to hurt people. And you're going to end up sleeping with people who were influenced by, who were either a fan of yours, who were too drunk, who were influenced by your power and aura and just general fame. And so I feel like with fame and power, there needs to be some giving up of responsibility, or there needs to be some more acceptance of responsibility.
Girls may have multiple reasons why they're interested in a guy and why they want to fuck him. If the reason is because the guy is famous, then yeah, they were influenced by his fame, by his aura, or what the fuck he said. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. Like, humans aren't brainwashed by fame. You can be in a room with a famous person and still think straight, and in most scenarios it won't even cloud your judgment to the point of having sex with someone that you yourself don't want to have.
Like, with the power, with the money, with the fame, you have extra responsibility as a man to take extra care with your sexual partners, because listen, the truth is that women have been used and abused for a long fucking time. And it feels super weird that men are now having to be held accountable for what they're doing. And y'all, I guess, aren't ready for that. But I'm just saying, you're not going to get away. You don't get away with it anymore. So, like, this advice is as much for the men, you know, it's for the men to protect themselves and to protect the women. I'm saying you got to meet someone, get to know them a little bit, make sure that you're both sober and that you've got enthusiastic consent. Because it's just not worth it. I don't think a lot of these guys doing this necessarily want to be hurting people, right? I think they get caught up in the moment. I think they probably have a lot of regrets about how they acted. I don't know though. Maybe I'm assuming too much. I don't know, right? I don't know how these people feel or what they think about.
So basically, Ethan is assuming that the famous guys cannot control themselves, that they get caught up in the moment, they cannot think rationally, and they will abuse their power to get what they want. Which again doesn't apply to everyone. So banning everyone from having random hookups doesn't make any sense.
But I do know that there's a lot of victims of women who are in the wake of these famous men being traumatized, being abused, having lots of regret, being coerced. So what do we do about it? I mean, if you're a famous man coming up, you can't do it. I mean, it's too risky. I think the dynamic of you being famous and powerful and then being a fan and knowing who you are, it's too powerful of a combination. So, like, you can't exploit that. It's just, it sucks, right? It sucks because you can't go out there and be a rascal and fuck everyone. You know what I mean? But, which is like apparently the dream of men. That's why they become famous. I didn't know that. I mean, I know that there's like dudes out there, but I find that odd that like you become famous just for that.
I agree with this. You cannot exploit your fame to get pussy, but if it's being famous and fucking someone that's not famous isn't essentially a bad thing. And it seems like Ethan cannot do the. It seems like Ethan cannot differentiate the two.
So it's just like, okay, bro, that's really it. That's all there is to life. But yeah, you're not getting away with it. Take him out to dinner. Get to know him a little bit. And then when you got guys who travel around, right? Who go city to city. I don't know, man. Jerk off. I don't know. Just beat off, bro. Get some hotel porn. I know it's expensive, but you're rich.
Holy fucking shit. So Ethan expects famous people. Ethan expects famous guy to be fucking celibate because they're famous. That's just the most outrageous shit that I've heard all week, I swear to God. You expect famous people to not fuck because they're famous? In what fucking world does he live? In what fucking bubble does he live? He's basically saying that if you're famous, you should jerk off and not have sex until you go on dates and find someone that you will be dating. That doesn't make any sense, like, at all. I know Ethan is married and shit, but if you think about how difficult it may be for famous people to actually date someone, because let's be honest, if you're a famous guy, you cannot really date some regular chick because she has to, let's say, go to college, go to work, and if she works 9 to 5, your schedules won't really match well. And also, she's basically stuck in the one spot because she has to go to either college or her work. But if you're someone that has to fucking fly across the country and shit like that, you don't have a strict schedule of what you're doing, then you just won't match. Also, there's the fear of finding a gold digger that only wants you for the fame and money. So the situation overall isn't as simple as it might seem. And then on the other hand, if let's say you are a YouTuber and you start dating within the scene, so let's say you find some other YouTuber that's smaller than you, right? Isn't that even bigger abuse of power? If you're someone known in the community and you start dating someone that's smaller, that doesn't have as big of a platform as you do, then you have infinitely more control of that person compared to them having a regular 9 to 5 job, right? If shit goes bad, you can basically ban that person from the community. other larger creators that you are presumably friends with won't collab with that smaller creator and shit like that. Like it just gets messy. So basing this idea on not having just random hookups but actually dating someone it doesn't really make sense.
Hell, even get a prostitute. Well, I think that's fine, right? I mean, at least you know what's going on there if you hire a prostitute. I don't know what the solution is, but what's happening right now is not working. It is not working. So I don't know if this was a crazy tweet. Is this a crazy thought or a sane thought? What do you guys think? Because I'm getting sick of seeing this happening. I'm getting sick of seeing people that I did respect have their lives and careers ruined because they couldn't keep from being pervs. And I'm sick of seeing young women who are being traumatized because they're being coerced into doing things they don't want to do.
That sucks for you, little bro, but the fact that your friends are fucking weirdos doesn't mean everyone is.
What the fuck is going on, dude? Somebody's got to figure this shit out. Ugh. But it's not, shit is changed. It's different now. You can't go out there and just fuck everybody. I think men need to realize, like, what a powerful thing sex can be. Like, you have to respect the power and the emotional connection that happens there and how violated somebody can feel who like offered you up their body in that sense only to be kind of like discarded or used or to regret it. There needs to be some understanding of that. And I'm not being a prude, right? Like, I'm cool with casual sex. I'm not like a puritanical. I don't think people need to get married or anything. I mean, fuck on the first date. I don't care. I'm just saying there's a specific issue with famous men. Because there's a magnetic pull that you need to be accountable for and that you need to treat with a special care. And it's in a way, maybe this isn't a good analogy, but like, if you're a trained martial artist, world champion, you know what I mean? Like 3-time black belt, you know how to kill a man with one punch. If you get into a bar fight, you cannot unleash your full fury, because if you go for like a neck throat punch and they end up dying, guess what? You're going to fucking jail. Whereas if it was someone who was untrained, you could, go crazy. You're not going to kill the guy, right? You can fight with all your passion. You don't have to worry about holding back. But if you have the potential to kill someone, you know how to do it, and you can do it easily. You don't do it, right? And that's common knowledge of people who are highly trained martial artists. They know that. And in a way, again, I don't know if this is a stupid analogy, but it's...
Holy shit, that's a stupid analogy. If you have two guys fighting in a bar and one of them is a trained fighter, the other normal guy doesn't want to get fucking killed. But when it comes to sex and both parties want to have it, it doesn't fucking matter. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's all about what the two people want.
It's kind of the same thing, right? If you're famous and powerful and you go out, you have this edge. You have this magneticism. People are going to be more pulled to you, especially fans of yours. And so in the same way, you got to be careful with what you've got there.
You can say the exact same thing about being attractive. Does that mean that pretty people shouldn't fuck?
Does that make sense? What do y'all think? Is it crazy? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know. What I do know is this is one shot, one take. I'm going to upload it to my...
So after watching this video, I don't really agree with this idea and the reasoning behind this. I can see what Ethan's trying to say, but essentially doesn't make much sense. There will always be some weird fucks doing some weird shit all the time, but we should hold these weird fucks accountable and not everyone else. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below, because I don't know if I am actually retarded or Ethan is. So if you have any opinion on this subject, just type it in. Thank you.